Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today I want to have a nice chill conversation. No, I don't know. I want to talk about what I think the biggest issue in Pokemon Unite is, but I don't want it to come off like salty or ragey. I definitely feel the energy and the general vibe whenever I'm being negative and things, and I've been wanting to try to be less negative and stuff. So I want to have a discussion about, where I think things are and what I think needs to change and things, but I want to keep it nice and lighthearted. So that's just kind of my little disclaimer, me prefacing this conversation. So yeah, in general, I think the number one thing that the game is suffering from, and I feel like this is obviously got like a certain type of lens to it, like it's coming from my perspective, but I think that it's probably a pretty widespread feeling. I'll be interested to get some comments from y'all to help me get some perspective on that, is just the solo queue experience in the game. I think it's no secret that this game, at least to me, the longevity of this game comes from the ranked mode and being able to play the game a lot and chasing after a goal, right? That's kind of what ranked is. And I'm sure that there is a lot, so many players, maybe the majority of players that play the game incredibly casually. They play standards, they play quick matches, and maybe this doesn't matter at all. And usually that is the case. The casual player base is much larger than the more serious or competitive player base. But I think that in general, Pokemon Unite has a lot of allure for the ranked mode, and this is the kind of sentiment that we see across the board. It feels like is that solo queue is bad or ranked is bad, and I have been kind of questioning whether or not it's like the literal sentiment. Is that really how the majority of people feel? Or is it just because I'm on Reddit and Twitter and YouTube and, Twitch and things like that? So I know I can speak from my perspective, and like I said, definitely an open discussion for you to let me know what you think. I think that it's pretty bad. I think that the ranked mode is in need of some big changes. But I want to talk specifically what needs to change. And we've done this before, but I want to kind of reintroduce my thoughts on it. We were talking about it a little bit last night on stream. That's how a lot of these discussion videos get started. So in my opinion, I could probably make a list of things in order from most important to least important of changes that I would like to see them make, or that I think the game needs to make. And essentially I'm just doing that for this one topic. I think that having 5 stacks, and for anybody that doesn't know what 5 stacking is, it's basically just queuing in ranked as a group of 5. So playing in a 5-man team. Having that in ranked has caused some pretty big issues, I'd say. And I don't think any of this is intended, and just for the sake of saying, I don't think that this is an issue from the players. I have no problem with the players playing the game the way that they're playing the game, but that the way that the game is actually developed and the way that the game in-game systems actually work. So, we have our ranked mode. That's where a lot of replay value from this game comes from the ability to queue up and try to improve and try to climb in the ranks. The problem is that the ranked mode in Pokemon Unite is either intentionally or unintentionally developed for 5-man groups. And the reason I say that is because, to put it simply, it's impossible to climb the leaderboard without being in a 5-man group. So we have a situation where I dare say that the majority, let's cut the community down from the entire community or the entire player base down to the ranked player base. And I would define that as the consistent players that play ranked, like the players that get on most days, that are spending the majority of their time in ranked. Let's talk about those people. I would dare say that those people are probably 90% or more comprised of non-consistent 5-stack groups. Now, what I mean by that is that when they get on, 9 times out of 10, they're not playing in a 5-stack group. They're not queuing up with the same 4 friends. They are just queuing into ranked and rolling the dice like the rest of us. Probably 90% plus. Now, that 90% plus has to face the harsh reality of the game, which is that the game is essentially not developed for them. The ranked leaderboard will never be obtainable to a solo queue. The matchmaking will try to put 5 stacks against other 5 stacks, but inevitably will fail, and you'll be playing, 5 stacks versus 3 stacks, or 5 stack versus solo queue. And in general, the replay value of the game has kind of taken a hit for this kind of like solo queue audience, because essentially when you look at it, there's really nothing to be earned or to get out of your playtime at all. And when you're in a 5-man group, there is. So, a secondary topic that we could have and that I've talked about in the past is rank rewards. I'm going to go ahead and spit this out really quickly. I think that the rank rewards in this game are pretty poor. I think that it's just not enough. Like, you want your players playing because they want to achieve the big thing, and get that reward for it. But the reward in this game is just 20,000 tickets, which doesn't even go very far. And, you can level up like one item from 20 to 30. And that's good, don't get me wrong, but, there's got to be something that we can keep, that we can, that we truly earn, Think of like, I know it's not the same, but like, think about any, sports player or esports player winning a championship at something. They get a trophy, they get a this, they get a that. And that's the prestige of it, right? You get to put that trophy on your trophy case, and you get to look back at it, rather. You get to look back at it. And quite simply with Pokemon Unite, there's nothing to look back at. And I think that that's a pretty important thing to have, the prestige of earning something tangible. Like a trophy or a title or a, sticker or a banner, whatever it is. So rank rewards. So talking about the solo duo player, roughly kind of categorizing them together, the non-5 stack player, you don't really have any rewards to chase after. In my opinion, I think getting masters is way too easy, but that's not what we're talking about here. But from the matchmaking perspective, the experience of playing ranked is already stacked against you. You are, every now and then, I don't really have like a rough estimate, but you're every now and then going to run into games where you queue into 5 stacks and they're going to stomp you because the coordination is just too high. And from the leaderboard perspective, it is quite literally impossible to climb the leaderboard as a solo queue player. You can climb a little bit, don't get me wrong, but you're not really ever going to push rank too much. I think that there's a kind of, give or take some exceptional situations or circumstances with people that have done more or less. I think there's a kind of like 1,400, 1,500 like ELO solo queue cap, essentially. I think I've seen a few people that have gone a little bit higher solo queue, but the other thing about that is that there's no way to confirm that they're actually solo queuing, but that's not the point. The point is that, like, you're not going to climb the leaderboard to be top 100 if you're not on a 5-man team. So we have a rank system that promotes 5 stacking in order to actually climb and get some kind of value out of your game time. We have a matchmaking system that doesn't hard stop 5 stacks from facing any other version of groups, so trio queues or, duo queues or solo queues. And you have a lacking incentive or a lacking reward system built into ranked that doesn't really, give any player, for that matter, much of a reason to grind and push the game. So what happens with this? In my personal opinion, in my experience, I'm starting to feel alienated by ranked. Like, I'm starting to feel like, well, what's the point? Why do I play? I really can. If you really think about it, I could just hit masters every season and then just, dip onto some other game or do anything else really and get the exact same reward. And I wouldn't be playing the game, and that is, part of it, right? Like, if you want to play the game, you have to play the game. But essentially, there's no need for me to stick around. And I think that when we're talking about, the game and the game developers, that is what they want, right? They want people to stick around. So I think it's important to bring up that, they might want to look into this issue. So that's kind of my personal opinion. I think that I don't even know if I ever said anything definitively. I'm just kind of ranting or just kind of spitballing here. But the essential biggest issue facing the game, the number one issue facing the game, is that 5 stacking and solo queue are together. And the main reason why is that even though there's so many things that I think that they need to change, and I could sit here and talk about rewards, I could talk about, you know, fixing matchmaking and tightening it up and making it better, or making the rank system longer, even with all of those other things that I think need to change, the first thing that needs to change is separating solo queue and duo queue from 5-stack queue, and that gives us, because when you do that, that gives us a tangible leaderboard to grind. If the 5-stack teams had their own leaderboard, or just if they weren't in ranked at all, the solo duo queue players would have at least some form of an incentive to push for, because, you know, I think that we're just living in like a dystopian ranked mode, like where, you know, the teams can get up to 22, 25, 24, 2800, and the solo queue players are, you know, 1,000 plus points below them, because it's quite literally impossible to climb that high solo queue. So we're kind of living a really skewed ranked mode, a really dystopian kind of competitive setting, where, you know, the matchmaking's so bad that the matches that we're getting aren't that good anyways, and then the results are either nothing if you're a solo queue player, because you can't grind, there's nothing to grind for, and you can't climb anyways, or you play a 5-stack group and then you kind of like reap the rewards of the way that the game has been developed and has to offer. So but the reason I bring this up is because that I fear that we will lose players if this doesn't change, and I don't want to lose players because I love this game. I'm looking forward to the future of it, and I just want it to be the best it can be. So hopefully this doesn't come off as doom and gloomy. I really am not trying to be that person that just thinks the game is going to die and wants it to. Obviously, I don't want the game to fail. So just a little bit of perspective from my side of things. I'm very excited about this game at all times. Decision-wise coming out, looking forward to that. And I just want the game to be as good as it can be. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear, you know, how does the ranked experience treat you? You know, how you doing out there? Let me know. But as always, friends, be sure to be kind to one another. Tell someone that you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.